station of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are MC.
Royals baseball from Kansas City. Another warm day, and the ball has been flying in the first two games with the Houston Astros. Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. We have learned to just accept the fact that when you get on the Royals roller coaster every year, it's going to be a heck of a ride. But boy, this has been an intense roller coaster ride for 74 games.
Sure has, and I hope the folks have been taking some Dramamine or something for control that motion sickness, because it hasn't been pretty. They've got to find a way to stay out of that strike zone and give their offense a chance before they even get started.
Yeah, and this team has had times this year where they're firing on all cylinders, but also times where the offense is struggling, but the pitching is doing well. And right now, the biggest question mark going into the season, the starting pitching has become their biggest concern.
It has, and it should be, because look at these numbers. It hasn't been pretty. 11 ERA, or excuse me, 5 ERA, and 14th in the American League. The quality starts are down. The runs allowed, it just hasn't been pretty. But they have the ability to stay out of the middle of the zone. They know that when you're in that nitro zone, you're going to get hit.
One of Ian Kennedy's best starts this year was against the Astros.
That's right. That's a positive he'll take into this. But so was Volquez two nights ago. He had his best starts and his best career starts against the Astros, but he didn't stay out of the middle. Right here in this start, Kennedy, he stayed out of the middle. Look where these pitches are. You can't give these hitters, especially as hot as they are, any cookies down the middle. Stand up, execute your pitches, and get back in that win column.
The Royals will be facing the sinker baller Doug Fister, who's been very good over his last 10 starts. Fister will have to deal with a stronger starting lineup with the return of Alex Gordon. And Alex last night picked up a home run and a double coming back from the disabled list. It will be game 2 for Alex Gordon since coming back from the disabled list. So the Royals They get some leadership back. They get some Gold Glove defense back, and they get some much needed help at the top of the order.
Yes, a breath of cool, fresh air on this hot summer afternoon here for sure. They get him in there. They know what they can get out of Alex Gordon. In the 2 spot, he's going to be a little bit more aggressive. They're going to be coming in there with the nucleus of power behind him. They want to get him out. But last night, free and easy. Look at how easy his swing was. Before this, he was swinging too hard, trying to pull everything, letting it come to him, adding a little shot in the arm, and that top of that lineup is going to be a breath of fresh air.
It may not feel like it right now, but the Royals were able to pick up the slack with Alex on the disabled list. They went 16 and 13. So that means some individuals stepped up, and maybe no more than Paulo Orlando in his .360 average. We'll talk about him when we come back. He's done it all. Our Honda most trusted player, Paulo Orlando. If you break down hitters with just 150 at-bats this year, Paulo Orlando's .361 batting average leads the major leagues. Now, remember, going into the season, he was going to share time with Jarrod Dyson. Ned Yost talks about where Paulo is right now.
He's been very productive with runners in scoring position. He's been productive without runners in scoring position, starting rallies and continuing rallies, and been very impressive.
I'll say he's been impressive. He's doing everything that Ned's asked him to do. He's an all-star if you ask me, because all-star players, it's all about who has the best first half. Paulo's certainly one of those guys.
And the Royals haven't committed to him as the everyday right fielder, but it's rather surprising when we don't see him in right field.
Oh, man, let Paulo drive that bus. Are you kidding me? Defensively, offensively, on the bases, this guy's a star.
Royals are dealing with 2 of the hottest teams in the American League right now. They're playing the Astros. They've won 7 straight, and they're chasing the Indians in the standings. They've won 8 straight. They're in the fourth inning in Detroit. The Indians and the Tigers are tied at 1 game apiece. The Tigers cannot beat the Cleveland Indians. Many teams cannot right now, as Cleveland has the longest active winning streak in the major leagues. They have won 8 in a row, and now their lead over the Royals in the Central Division is 5 games. It'll be Ian Kennedy and Doug Fister on the mound today. Royals and Astros. The first pitch is coming up next. T-Mobile, greater coverage of baseball. They're in the fourth inning in Detroit. The Indians and the Tigers are tied at 1 game apiece. The Tigers cannot beat the Cleveland Indians. Many teams cannot right now, as Cleveland has the longest active winning streak in the major leagues. They have won 8 in a row, and now their lead over the Royals in the Central Division is 5 games. It'll be Ian Kennedy and Doug Fister on the mound today. Royals and Astros. The first pitch is coming up next. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. By Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit your MidwestFordDealers.com. It is a steamy day. The tarp was on the field for a while. Some rain just missed Kauffman Stadium, but there is plenty of humidity, so the temperature is 88. It feels much warmer than that, and there still is a chance for rain. throughout the afternoon and into the early evening hours. There's A.J. Hinch. His team has won 7 in a row. They are now 3 games over 500 after at one point this season being 11 games below 500. Jose Altuve will be the designated hitter today. He'll bat third, so Marwin Gonzalez will be at second base, and Evan Gattis will be behind the plate. And last night, A.J. Hinch had a player in his lineup for a second straight night who came very close to hitting for the cycle, and Jose Altuve, who only needed a triple, the most difficult hit in a cycle, put it in 5th gear before he put it in 4th gear.
Yeah, and nearly came undressed. You saw the belt buckle, the helmet hit his back heel. That tripped him up. But you know, he would have been out at third base. I hate to tell him that. But still, that's back-to-back nights. Offensive players from the Astros had opportunities to hit for the cycle.
Yeah, the player we saw laughing the hardest in the dugout was George Springer, and he was a double shy on Friday.
That's got to stop. They've got to find a way to shut down these powerful Astros, and none of the balls that they've hit have all been doinkers either. They're all squared up and barreled.
Ian Kennedy allowed 8 home runs in his first 10 starts, and now he's given up 10 in his last 4. Kennedy right now a pace of about almost 2 home runs per 9 innings, and that's the highest of his career. 1.98 per 9 innings to be exact. So the strategy is pretty clear for him, and especially against the Astros and the way they've been piling up the runs.
That's right, the Astros, they've hit home runs in last 10 games. Trying to keep them in the yard for sure, but the Ford Royals defense, we're going to show you Morales. Morales over there at first base. How about him? Second start this year. Last season, 9 starts at first base, no errors. He's trustworthy. Ned, he didn't have a hard time giving Haas half a day off and letting this guy play first base, and probably the best fielding first base in baseball with 6 screws in his ankle.
I agree. It's a very strong argument you present. George Springer, big rip on the first pitch of the game. He has 5 runs driven in the series. 4 of those were on one swing when he hit a grand slam in the first inning, batting for the second time in the first inning on Friday night. Two fastballs, no balls, 2 strikes.
That's the thing that Kennedy wants to establish, but he's got to establish them on the corners. Stay out of the middle of the plate. And you know that they've obviously capitalized on mistakes, the Astros, their offense. But you know, you got to make them uncomfortable once in a while. Throw them inside, knock them off the plate, make them move their feet. That's all you got to do. Don't let them be so comfortable up there. Kennedy pitched in the National League. He knows you can't just throw them down the middle all the time. They're going to get hit. Fastball, changeup, curveball, slider. He'll mix in all of them. He's been throwing more secondary pitches though in his last few starts.
Back-to-back changeups inside, 2-2.
I talked to Dave Island before the game about that, and he said he needs to pitch with this fastball with more conviction. He's been getting away from it because he's not as confident in it. It's been getting hit out of the ballpark. But you can't back off that pitch. That's what's gotten him here. It's up to him to stand up and execute his pitches.
And the count goes from 0-2 to 3-2. Well, his early season success had a lot to do with using his fastball as much as he did and put it in the spots he wanted to, and the league is still only hitting a little over 200 against his fastball. And Springer comes back from 0-2 and opens the game with a walk.
Walks have been hurting the Royals pitching staff all year long. Now they've gotten a little bit better over the last month, but against these hot Astros, you give them a little free runner, they've been making the Royals pay.
Marwin Gonzalez has hit one of the 5 Houston home runs in the series. He hit that one last night. He's driven in 3. He's a switch hitter. bad pitch.
Good pitch. Gonzalez, dangerous hitter. Bit hot, not red hot against the Royals, but anything out over the middle of the plate with any of these guys. So he's going to have to really do a good job of dissecting the outer rims in all 4 quadrants of the strike zone. See Gonzalez, check him out. Now we're seeing Springer up there. He will run.
Good changeup. 1 ball, 1 strike. And the Astros will run. You know, you look at these numbers and it's hard to figure out why to this point the Astros are 8th in the league in runs scored, because they've hit the 5th most home runs. They have drawn the most walks. That was the 300th walk by an Astros hitter when Springer reached, and they have the most stolen bases.
Well, when you see all those are all good numbers, and you look at their average with runners in scoring position as a team at 255, they're just not getting the big clutch hits when they need them.
When they're not hitting home runs.
Exactly.
A.J. Hinch, the former Royal, came over to the Royals in the Johnny Damon trade from the Oakland A's after the 2000 season. Popped up. Bright day. And Lorenzo Cain with the sunglasses on will take care of Gonzalez. And there is 1 down. He is not built like a designated hitter, and he's usually the Astros second baseman, but Jose Altuve is the designated hitter today, and our Toyota League leaders will show you that he's been hitting like a designated hitter, especially against the Royals. He plays every day, he gets on base, and against the Royals this year he's hitting .481 with 3 home runs and 7 driven in.
Yep, you know, you can't miss with Altuve. That's very simple. If you do, he's going to get you. Now obviously Salvador Perez has a lot of confidence in Morales to do a snap throw down there, because they know that he's got soft hands over there at first base. He works at it. It's only his 2nd start of the year, but he's out there every day when they do hit on the field, taking ground balls at first base, and he's ready.
Good slider over the outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, and you know, the numbers against the Royals are ginormous. But Ryan, this guy is 1st in batting average, 5th in runs, 2nd in hits, on base percentage. He's top 10 in almost every offensive category. Road batting average, day batting average, night batting average. Versus righties, versus lefties. He's putting together an MVP type season. The only 2 categories he's not in the top 10 in are home runs and RBIs, and that's really what makes you attractive for a MVP. Those numbers aren't too shabby. 13 and 44. Put him in the lane.
Or strike him out. Two down after the leadoff walk.
Okay, he pitched him carefully and out of the strike zone. Made him swing at his pitches. That's the whole key to success. Yep, he's shaking his head saying, I got myself out. And that's what you do. Let those hitters get themselves out. They're aggressive, they've been hot, and now they're looking to swing.
And now Carlos Correa with Springer at first base. Correa has homered in the series and has driven in 2. But over a longer stretch, Carlos Correa has 9 runs driven in his last 5 games. So this is not just a lineup loaded with good hitters. It's a lineup at the moment loaded with good hitters who happen to be hot at the moment.
Cool him off by toying with him. So far in the 13 pitches, Kennedy's been mixing them very well out of the middle of the plate. There's one he got by with. Looking to use his curveball a little bit more. Looks like what we've seen. But you got to disrupt the timing. That's in. That's not out. That's in on the inside part of the plate. Good location.
Fastball up and in. 0-2. That's the Ian Kennedy I remember from the first 2 months of the season. Throwing fastballs, staying with his fastball, throwing fastballs when hitters are expecting something otherwise. Remember all the called third strikes he was getting with fastballs? That stayed out over the plate, but it's hit on the ground to Cuthbert. Morales with a stretch. So Kennedy walks Springer. Springer never advances. And Kennedy holds down Houston in the first inning. The Royals have scored 9 runs in the first 2 games. Typically that's enough to win. And here's the Royals batting order today, which has Alex Gordon back in there for a 2nd straight game. Eric Hosmer will be the designated hitter. So Kendrys Morales will be at first. All to face right-hander Doug Fister, 32-year-old Doug Fister. And when he's on, he gets ground balls. So he needs a lot of help from his infield defense. And there's a sinking fastball for a strike to Whit Merrifield. Fister's big. He is 6'8". So he gets a lot of downward leverage with that sinking fastball.
Sure does. Perfect height for a sinker baller. There's only 2 Royals hitters in the lineup that haven't faced him before. Merrifield 1 and Cuthbert 2.
He has won 7 straight decisions. That's the 2nd longest streak in the American League. And beginning on May the 1st, he has the 2nd most wins and the 2nd best ERA in the American League. And now he goes up and in on Merrifield. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Ha! Little chin music there for Merrifield. Whitley's not going to back down. He's going to look out there against a sinker baller. Fastball, curveball, slider, change. He's got 4, but he mainly uses that sinker. If it's up, it can be hit. Good pitch. Got him to swing in. Houston Astros defense. Evan Gattis. He's having a good job, or doing a good job this year so far behind the plate. And when it comes to nailing runners, 7 for 13. But when he catches, his numbers are .283 with 6 home runs. When he's the DH, he hits just .179 with 5 home runs. So obviously, he likes being in on both sides of the game. And most players will tell you that. Billy Butler, when he plays first base, he has better numbers. Morales, we'll see how he is, but I know most of the time when you're playing both sides of the ball, you're in the game.
1-1 on Alex.
Watch Gattis throw the ball back to Fister. These guys are the quickest working duo and tandem there is in the game. Pfister, the way he gets that ball, his tempo is unbelievable. Now watch Gattis, he just gets the ball right back to him on a line. And so in order for you to disrupt his timing, hitters can step out of the box. You don't have to go on him. Slow play him, throw him off of his rhythm. He's been really good because of his tempo and attacking hitters.
Pfister got Alex to pull an outside pitch into the overshift. Gonzalez throws him out, 2 down.
AJ Hinch was telling me before the game that the reason he's been so good recently is because of that tempo, but also he has a big slow curveball that he'll mess up the rhythm of the hitter and the timing of the hitter. So he'll go sinker, 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 flip a slow one up there just to give him something to think about.
Lorenzo Cain jumps on a first pitch sinker that stayed up, and he's on with a 2-out single. And Cain, even before that at bat, had good career numbers against Pfister.
No sink to that, stayed up, found a hole. But if he gets that sinker going, they're going to make some contact, but you just got to find a way to get it through the infield.
So the DH today, Eric Hosmer, he has hit .440 against the Astros this year. Fastball at 89 is in for a strike, 1-1.
Haas has some really good numbers against Pfister. Hope we see him today. They need his bat.
Pretty good swing at a fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's the second time this year the Royals have faced Doug Pfister. Royals saw him. Well, it's the first time this year. Let me take that back. They did not see him when they took 3 out of 4 from the Astros. That is through the right side. Cain will go first to third. So a pair of 2-out singles and runners at the corners for Salvador Perez.
Doug Pfister is the Royals type of pitcher, as you see in his outing in April.
Yeah, the Royals scored 6 runs, 9 hits. They did see him April the 14th.
Yeah,
and that was late. They scored 5 runs late against him. Pfister was really on for the first 4 or 5 innings, and then the Royals scored 5 late in his outing.
But he's their kind of pitcher. Throws strikes, challenges, says here it is, hit it. There it was, right there. Not overpowering either. So the Royals, they need to get to Pfister early, especially early in this game, like first inning, like now.
One ball, 1 strike on Salvi. Got him to chase one up and out of the strike zone. Back in 2012, Doug Pfister, while pitching for the Tigers, struck out 9 straight Royals, an American League record. And that ended with a Salvador Perez ground out. Pfister had 2 strikes in the count, but Salvi grounded out to short. Fastball is up and away, 2 balls and 2 strikes. That was an afternoon game in Detroit.
I remember that. He was mowing them down. Royals love to get on board first. They haven't scored first since last Friday against the Tigers. And when they do score first, they're 29-8.
It will pop up behind short, and Correa goes out and makes the play. So a pair of 2-out singles. Pfister strands Kane at third and Hosmer at first.
Joel Goldberg down by the Royals dugout. No secret they need help in the rotation, and perhaps Chris Medlin will be part of that solution as he continued his rehab assignment yesterday. And we see in our University of Kansas Hospital injury report the numbers 4 2/3 for Chris yesterday at Omaha. No runs allowed. He had allowed 9 hits and 4 runs in his previous 2 starts at Northwest Arkansas. But here's what's most important, guys. He said, like yesterday, he felt like a pitcher. Everything had been free and easy in the bullpen sessions, but not when he got into the games. And so he just tried to go easier, go freer. And he said that he felt like himself. Instead of one pitch and then a bunch of bad ones, he said it was repeating good pitch after good pitch. Very positive step. He felt great out there yesterday.
Oh, and that's really comforting to hear. Royals could use him in his 3 pitches when he's on. He won 6 games for the Royals last year out of the bullpen and as a starter.
Chatting with Danny Duffy, who will start tomorrow night against the Cardinals. Colby Rasmus, then A.J. Reed and Carlos Gomez in the 2nd inning. 2-1 on Rasmus, who is 6 for 9 in the first 2 games of the series with a home run and 2 driven in, and hitting .455 against the Royals this year. Look at that for eye black.
How about it? That's it. We're always seeing new things in the game every day, but you know what? That's, I think, was brought on by Bryce Harper a long time ago. He had that, and we see a lot of kids out there on the ball fields here around Kansas City that emulate that with that eye black all over their faces. Whatever works. And it's been working for him. He's got a short, compact swing. Thought that ball was away.
And he was right. Center field, Kane to the track, and he has enough room. And that'll bring up A.J. Reed, who made his big league debut last night. The 2014 College Baseball Player of the Year out of the University of Kentucky, where he also pitched. He led the nation with those 23 home runs, at least Division I players. He did not get his first big league hit last night, but it was still a very productive night. Finished 0 for 2 with 2 walks, 2 runs scored, and a run driven in. A.J. Reed out of Indiana.
6'4", 275. He's compact with his stroke. Powerful.
That came up and got Kerwin Danley. No balls, 2 strikes.
First time through, as a hitter like him, they're trying to figure you out. They're just going to throw some fastballs in there. You know, they're not going to just hand it to you, but they want to see what you can do. And sometimes first time through can be pretty easy, but it's the second and third time through how you're going to make adjustments. Tyler White, their rookie of the year this year for the first month of the season, found that out. Was going good. Firing on all cylinders, getting base hits, leading everybody in hitting. And the second time around, he couldn't make the adjustments, and they sent him back.
1-2 on Reed. We understand that is his personal cheering section. Friends and family from Indiana, seeing his first big league series. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes. Reed was called up, and Tony Kemp, who appeared in the game on Friday, came on for Jose Altuve late in the game. Kemp was sent back to the minor leagues. Two and 2.
Usually you're aggressive if you haven't gotten your first big league hit. Kennedy knows that and is trying to get him to swing out of the strike zone.
Strike 3 over the inside. That's Ian Kennedy's second strikeout.
Good spot. Why not? Stay in there. Tie him up. Yep, right there. Good spot. Good little movement back over the plate. And A.J. Reed, you got to go.
Good strike zone for a pitcher today. Kerwin Danley back of the plate. Former All-American baseball player himself, Kerwin Danley. Back in the early 80s at San Diego State, where he played with Tony Gwynn.
Good guy, hard worker.
1-1 on Carlos Gomez. 3 hits, 2 RBIs in the first two games of the series for Gomez. Fastball. So there's what we were talking about in the first inning. A lot of Kennedy's success early in the season with his fastball when it appeared that hitters were expecting either a breaking ball or a changeup. I mean, that's a pitch right there that Gomez will usually lose his helmet with a big swing, and then back with the same fastball to strike him out. So Kennedy begins with 2 scoreless innings and 3 strikeouts.
Pitch with conviction. How about that? Young man, it's okay, but you know, you do have to listen to the higher authority.
Kendrys Morales leads off against Doug Fister. The Royals got a pair of 2-out singles against Fister in the first inning, but he was able to get Salvador Perez on a pop-up. 1-1 on Morales. Getting a chance to play first base for just the second time this year, as Eric Hosmer is the designated hitter.
I like the first swing by Morales. First swing usually is I want to put you over the fence swing, but he went to left field with that. That's the right approach against a sinker baller.
That's to center field. The wind is blowing in. And Gomez to the edge of the track to make the catch. I mean, it is blowing straight in. You rarely see the wind pointing in the direction at Kauffman Stadium like it is today. That is blowing out of the northeast. We have thunderstorms all around us, so it's swirling around and coming back in from right center field, which is rare.
He got that one. It sounded just like any other home runs he hits, but you're right. Wind knocked it down.
And now Paulo Orlando with a 9-game hitting streak and batting .361. Fister throws a strike over the inside. And it's not a soft 9-game hitting streak. That's 36 at-bats and 18 hits. Broke his bat, and Fister has the ball come out of his glove, but he has plenty of time. And there are 2 down. And now Alcides Escobar, who is batting 8th with the return of Alex Gordon. Kia puts us in the driver's seat. Escobar has been 2 different players this year. The Alcides Escobar on the road, and the Alcides Escobar at home, where he's reached base safely in 19 consecutive home games, tying Eric Hosmer for the longest such streak this year. And that ball's hit well into left center field. Gomez comes over to make the play. So Fister taking advantage of that strong wind blowing in from center field, and needs just 7 pitches to get the Royals in the bottom of the 2nd inning. That was just moments ago. It is Girl Scouts Day at Kauffman Stadium, and members of Troop 3470, Troop 120, and Troop 1408 stopping by to give us some cookies to take home today.
Fantastic. I got me some Thin Mints. What'd you get?
All right, I got the shortbread and the lemonade.
Hey, now. You got 2 boxes. I got 1. Maybe one's for Holtz, you'll share with him.
Yeah. Well,
you want to trade?
You don't need 2 boxes, Hud.
You got that right. I don't think that's staying in.
Hey, nice grab. Fan not only brought his glove, but his cowboy hat. He's got an old Colt 45s jersey on. That was the original name of the Houston Astros.
Oh, that was behind him. He didn't even see it. Like it.
There they are. Wave.
Ah, they're beautiful. Thank you, ladies, for coming up. How about the Thin Mints right here? Check them out. Not one of my favorites. However, when I go home, they'll get devoured. Is that your favorite? No? Your favorite? Yours? All right. 1 out of the 3 likes them. Hey, look. Got all kinds of choices up here. Thank you, ladies, for coming. Bring us a win, will you? Nice talking to you.
They're starstruck. I'd give them a break.
Hey, come on. I want to engage with them. You know, they're just so nice of them to bring us up some cookies.
Well, they're Girl Scouts. I mean, what do you want me to do? Break down Ian Kennedy's first 2 innings today?
No, but like that sign we saw in the stands, the kid was talking too much. His mom said, "Be quiet." I have that problem too.
No swing. Mark Ripperger is the third base umpire, and it's 2-2 on Luis Valbuena. 3 hits, 3 runs driven in this series, and there are a lot of numbers like that, with the Astros scoring 26 runs in the first 2 games. 5 home runs. 3-2 on Valbuena. Evan Gattis is on deck. Kennedy walked the first hitter, George Springer, and then has set down the next 6 with 3 strikeouts. That'll be back into the crowd. Easy, fellas.
I like it. Fans are hungry for baseballs this afternoon.
Tumbling backward, dogpiling on one another.
Whatever it takes.
Changeup. 4 strikeouts for Kennedy, including 3 in a row. Remember, group tickets and party areas are still available for the remainder of June and all of July. This allows you to invite your friends, co-workers, or an organization out for a night at Kauffman Stadium. You'll receive great discounts and scoreboard recognition. Groups of 20 or more can contact Royals Group Sales. That's group sales at royals.com. Group sales at royals.com. Here's Evan Gattis with 1 down. That is up the middle and into center field. And the Astros have their first hit.
Talking about his numbers when he catches, and he's a part of both sides of this game, defensively, offensively. Numbers are eye-poppingly different on the average. Power about the same, but he hasn't caught since 2014, and this year, he talked A.J. Hinch into letting him catch. He said, "Look, I used to could do this pretty well, so I need to carry an extra catcher when I'm here, and I can help you in that department." Eric Kratz was there earlier this season.
Yep. Eric Kratz is now with the Pirates. On the ground to Merrifield. He'll take the sure out. Springer is down, and Gattis goes to second base. And like Drew Butera last night, Eric Kratz this past week got into a game as a pitcher. They sent Gattis actually back down to the minor leagues. so that he could catch some games and get rid of some of the catching cobwebs before they began to use him as the backup to Jason Castro. So Gattis is in scoring position for Marwin Gonzalez. Kennedy got him on a fly ball to center field. Kennedy had a tough time getting the ball down in his start on Tuesday at the Mets. Of his 12 outs, 9 were in the air, and he gave up a couple of home runs. Now, Citi Field is much more of a home run friendly ballpark than Kauffman Stadium, but during these months and with this humidity, Kauffman Stadium can play like Citi Field. And so far, the Astros have only made 2 outs in the air. Oh, and 2. Watch this, Hud. Why would a left-hand batter want to mark just off the outside part of the plate?
Couldn't tell you without talking to him. I don't know why he would do that. Maybe he just wants to see that he can cover the outside part of the plate. But didn't he drew a line back? Is that what he was doing? Huh.
Breaking ball is low. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I know a lot of hitters, they're routine oriented like most everybody, and they go up to the plate, they have their routines, and they'll tap the plate. There he goes, he tapped the plate. Didn't do a line draw, but whenever you draw a line, especially after a bad pitch is called, you might get tossed. But to tap the plate for whatever reason, part of his timing.
Remember, Bernie Williams would reach his bat out to the outside part of the plate and almost put it on the ground as a way to help him line up in the batter's box. Here's how far I have to be able to reach.
Very particular hitters are where they stand. And if you alter that spot where you stand in the box for years, it seems so awkward. You might move an inch and you're like, whoa, this feels way out of place here. I mean, they want to be right in the same spot almost every time. So when it comes to making adjustments to that pitcher, mostly it's with your hands or other things besides your foothold and where you are. That's the last time or last place that most hitters will make the adjustment, moving in or up and back.
That'll be back into the crowd. That's an interesting point, because as a pitcher gets older, or maybe they just evolve in their style, we hear about them moving around on the rubber. You know, I was pitching on the first base side, and then I decided to move over to the third base side. But I don't know if I've ever heard of a hitter talking about making an adjustment based on where they were standing in the batter's box because of age or whatever.
It's a comfort thing for the hitter. Now, Don Baylor was teammates with him back in his early days with the Yankees, and I was just a young punk. And he would move back towards the umpire when Scotty McGregor would pitch, because he threw that big old loop and curve, and he moved back wanting him to get that pitch up. And McGregor would always drop that ball right in front of home plate, that curveball right there. And so when he backed up, he saw it as a ball the whole way, wouldn't be tempted to swing at it if he was in his normal spot. So there was a hitter there that did some drastic movement in the box. And then sometimes on sinker ballers, he'd move way up towards the pitcher. Some guys are comfortable doing that. Most are not.
Yeah, we will hear from time to time a hitting coach saying, well, I've been trying to get him off the plate, or I've been trying to get him to get back in the box or come up in the box. And that is a big adjustment for an established hitter, especially. Strike over the inside. 5 strikeouts for Kennedy in 3 scoreless innings.
Nice job by Kennedy.
9, 1, and 2 coming up for the Royals in the bottom of the 3rd. Is brought to you by your local Kansas City area Chevy dealers. Visit for great prices on the all-new 2016 Malibu. By Panera Bread, food as it should be with 24 KC Metro locations. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, right stuff, low price every day. No score to the bottom of the third inning. Royals have had just 2 base runners so far against Doug Fister, and the Astros have had just 2 base runners against Ian Kennedy. 1 ball and 1 strike on Cheslor Cuthbert, who just continues to roll along. 4 hits, a home run, and 4 driven in the first 2 games of the Astros. Pretty good for a number 9 hitter. And if you stretch that out to his last 13 games, he has 4 home runs and 10 driven in, and a .630 slugging percentage. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, Ned has been blessed with a lot of production out of that spot, and that helps the top of the order drive in some runs and getting those guys on base in the bottom.
Fastball up and in. That was a very similar pitch that Fister threw to Whit Merrifield for a strikeout in the first inning.
When you're facing a sinker baller, you're looking down in the zone, so Fister surprises him with that high fastball like that. It's hard for him to lay off of it. We haven't seen too many looping curveballs yet. Maybe he's saving that for second time around as Whit Merrifield starts that right now, second time through.
So Whit, just like the pitch to Cuthbert, struck out. Fastball up and in the first inning. Thinking about a bunt and taking a strike. And he had the third baseman Valbuena playing deep. Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard since 2010. Only Yasiel Puig and Austin Jackson had more hits in their first 32 games than Whit Merrifield.
It's pretty good company.
Eric Hosmer was also on that list.
Whitley's using the whole field, and I guarantee you, when he wakes up in the morning, he can't wait to get up there in that top of that order. Get to the ballpark, he knows he's playing. There's nothing better for a young player than compared to coming to the ballpark. I wonder if he's going to put me in there. It's a big difference knowing you're in there. That's confident factor.
Line base hit left field on a 1-2 pitch. And now Whit adds to his record, his Royals record of hitting safely in every single start he's had at Kauffman Stadium. It's now 17 in a row.
Whitley is ready for it. Fister has been attacking the strike zone as a reason, one of the reasons why he's been so much better for the Astros. He's aggressive, he's staying at it. So if you're a hitter like Whitley, you say, you know what, if you're going to challenge me, I'm going to get you. And that's what the Royals offense has to be thinking. Lay off of those high ones.
He's had good movement on his fastball so far, but I haven't seen a lot of wicked bite down. It's been more running in on a righty.
Could be trouble for him. Now look at, we see the splits. He's got better numbers second time through, but third time through they're hitting over 300. Those numbers aren't in stone. It can always happen the second time through. Just because he's had an overall number of 162 doesn't mean it's going to stand.
Showing bunt, and that pitch was close. Fister got Alex to pull a pitch that was outside into the overshift. The Astros have Correa, Gonzalez, and Reed.
It's not a
stacked
bad
on the right side.
It's not a bad thought. Now he just brought Valbuena in just after Alex showed that he could bunt.
2-1.
Kennedy has done something that the other Royals haven't done, the starters, the last 2 games. He's shut them down for the first 3. It's time for the Royals to jump on.
Gomez makes the catch. and throws a rocket back to the infield with Merrifield halfway. 2 down. Lorenzo Cain got a first pitch fastball in the first inning and hit a ground ball base hit into left field. Lorenzo Cain in May hit 6 home runs, drove in 25. He has not homered yet in June, and he's driven in just 5.
Best is yet to come for Lorenzo. He's going to have a phenomenal finish this year. He's going to say, jump on my back, guys. We all know where we want to go.
Mad that he didn't take a rip at that pitch. 2 balls and 1 strike.
2-0. You got him in a good hitter's count. Let her tee it high and let it fly.
He come and set.
Went awfully quick. Home. And that was a curve, but it wasn't the big slow looping curve. So maybe there's a reason he's not going to that pitch today. Maybe not. Maybe he doesn't feel it.
Hit well to left field and bouncing in front of Rasmus. Lorenzo Cain is 2 for 2. Merrifield stops at second base.
It's in, but he's able to pull his hands in at 89 miles an hour. A hitter has time to get around on that heater. Stayed on top of it, sunk it down in front of Rasmus. Rasmus has quite a throwing arm. He has the best or most assists in the American League with 9.
A little bit high to Hosmer. He singled through the overshift. Got it in between CORREA, who's playing right up the middle, and the second baseman Gonzalez.
It's time for Hosmer to unload on one to the hydration station. Definitely like that young man's showing right there. He's out there in that area.
Outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Let's take a look at today's Kubota power stats. And Eric Hosmer, all-time hitters against the Astros with at least 75 at-bats. Dustin Pedroia is the only player with a higher batting average. Hosmer up there with Robinson Cano, Hanley Ramirez. And he hits a slow roller down around the end of the bat out to Gonzalez, and that's the inning. So the Royals are getting some good swings against Pfister. And at the same time, Pfister's done a good job of staying off the barrel of the bat with men in scoring position. opposite field home run. Lorenzo Cain.
Makes a spectacular catch.
Special.
Left center field. Game over. Lorenzo Cain. Needing a late push to make the All-Star team. Remember, you can vote 5 times a day. Voting closes in just 4 days. And doing his part, Lorenzo has a couple of hits already today. You can watch the All-Star game on July 12th on Fox. San Diego, California. Middle of the order, Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, and Colby Rasmus in the 4th inning. 0-2 on Altuve.
You want to pitch to the hottest hitter on the planet? This is how you do it. Now, it's off the plate. Another one off. Now he's going to start saying, okay, I'm going to get aggressive. No, nice curve inside. Got him away. Look at that. Everything out of the middle. Take your chances. Not there. It's out over the middle. How about that?
On an 0-2 pitch.
Yep, first time he missed, he got him. Short swing, and that's not in the middle of the plate either. My mistake. It was a breaking ball, but he just stayed with it. Swing under control. Played pepper with it. Something I wish I saw more players at the big league level doing. Playing pepper. Even the young players that we see around town that I get a chance to go with my boys play, I don't see anybody playing pepper. That's about bat control. It's about, you know, hitting it to different directions with a short, compact swing. That really helps you when you get in the batter's box.
And as you're talking about that, I'm wondering how many youngsters are watching the game today and have no idea what you're talking about.
Pepper's a game
of pepper.
You can play it in your backyard if you have some grass. You can play it with a tennis ball. It's mainly it's better with a hard ball, and you spread out the 3 or 4 guys in front of you, and then each guy throws you a little lob toss, and you just kind of pepper it back to that guy, and then you hit it to the next guy, and you try to hit it to the next guy, teaching yourself bat control and how to handle the bat.
Correa gets jammed, and Merrifield comes all the way to the grass to make the play. Correa is 0 for 2. And it's also a good fielding practice for the 4 guys that are throwing to the hitter. Right?
It is.
Getting some bat control on one side and fielding practice on the other side.
And you're taking some time in the summer that you have when you don't have anything to do, and you're having fun doing it. And then if you catch the ball on the line and the guy hits a line drive, then you're out. And you go get a glove, and that guy who caught it, he gets to hit. It's his turn. So you play games. You make up stuff. But in the meantime, you're honing your skills in baseball for what you really need, the fundamentals, catching and hitting.
Colby Rasmus with Altuve at first base, 1 out. And the Royals were deep and shifted on Rasmus, so he tried to drop down a bunt. He drove Lorenzo Cain to the warning track in center field back in the 2nd inning.
I think they'd prefer him to bunt. With his quick, powerful swing he's got, they'll let him bunt all day long.
Oh, and 2. In his last 12 games against the Royals, that includes last year's division series, Colby Rasmus has 5 home runs and 11 driven in. Altuve takes off. Strikeout. Close. Stolen base. And that's nothing new for Altuve. That is his 19th of the year. So a runner at second base with 2 down as the Royals will take another look at it.
Well, I'll tell you, when he takes off Altuve, he's at full speed in 1 step. Looked like he might have got around that tag. Let's see with his right foot. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa.
Royals are going to challenge.
Hey, Salvi. He says, you know, you can't run on me without a good jump. South has thrown out 45.5% of runners this year.
And those are two guys who go back to their childhood in Venezuela. Salvador Perez and Jose Altuve have known each other for most of their lives. Tag right there. Out.
So as the Royals on the field have seen that shot on the big screen, they're starting to walk off the field. Altuve standing all by himself at second saying, hey, what's the deal here? Where's everybody going?
The Royals are walking off the field.
Right. Let's see.
Jeez.
They're pretty confident, aren't they? Altuve's, he's inching his way towards his dugout.
Now,
he's starting to believe.
it's taken way too long. Really?
Joe West has had his hands on those headphones ready to take them off for the last 2 minutes.
Almost as if what he saw up on Crown Vision was enough. So now he gets the okay from the umpire in New York. So it is a strikeout, throw out, double play. That's 6 strikeouts for Ian Kennedy in 4 scoreless innings.
Stay hot now, get him some runs.
Good start on both sides. Doug Fister and Ian Kennedy. No score, bottom of the 4th inning. Salvador Perez leading off. There's that big slow curveball you've been talking about.
That's right. Now, second time through, he's starting to break that one out. He's having some success with his other pitches. He doesn't want to show that pitch until he has to. Starting pitcher has to go through 3, sometimes 4 times through the order.
And then a fastball up. So Perez is down on 3 pitches. 3 strikeouts for Fister, and all on fastballs up. A reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Another breaking ball for a strike to Morales. Well, a sinker pitcher, the mindset of a hitter is make sure he gets the ball up, and Pfister has really played well into that because his fastballs are up, but they're a little too high, and he's getting the Royals to chase it.
He's taking a page out of Chris Young's pitching repertoire, except he's keeping the ball in the yard till now.
Stroke to deep right field, gone. Number 9 for Kendrys Morales, and the Royals lead 1-0 in the bottom of the 4th.
Almost got a hold of one. His first time up to center field, the wind knocked it down. Morales is back. He's starting to swing a very productive bat. A top spin. Homer.
It has been over a week since the Royals have scored first in a game.
It's good. Hey, look, he's a toe tapper. That's how he uses his lower half to get himself geared up.
CORREA throws out Paulo Orlando. Paulo is 0 for 2.
Okay, look at his hands. He's always moving his hands. We'll see his upper half here. Head moves forward just a little, but he's able to hold it with that foot. And then you see his head, his hands, everything's right. Got a good little back leg bend. Perfect balance. Got on top. Now watch his toe tap. See him? He taps once with his right foot, and that gets his hands and lower half all in order. He's a toe tapper. Some guys load up their hips with a flamingo leg kick where they pick up their foot, really load up their hips. Other guys don't do a lot with that front foot.
One and one on Escobar.
He sees he's got his little foot there. He already tapped, and then his down. The foot's got to come down right before the swing.
Boy, Escobar had a great pitch to bunt on, and he had Valbuena back at third base. He just couldn't keep it fair. Big curveball like that.
That's the one you want. It's already moving down. It's a lot easier to bunt the top half of the ball on that pitch. Sliders, sinkers. Staying alive there.
Had Escobar reaching. So that's the inning. Kendrys Morales hits his 9th home run of the year. He's playing at first base today for the Royals. And at the end of 4, the Royals have a 1-0 lead.
Good swing.
A little bit of a star last night, as we see in our Northtown Premier Northtown Mazda game break. Drew Butera, never good when you got to bring in a position player to pitch, but this was his 4th career game, and he got a strikeout. Even through 91 miles per hour. There's the final line. Guys, talking to Drew, he said he got a heads up early yesterday that they might need him. So he was out there warming up. Guys in the bullpen knew it might happen. Then the Royals started coming back, so he went back to the dugout. Chien-Ming Wang got in trouble in the 9th inning, so he went down to throw some pitches in the tunnel, threw 4. That's it. When they needed him, he said he was a little disappointed because he thought he maybe could get up to 94 to 95 on the gun. Only hit 91. But hey, in his career, 4 games, 3 2/3, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. He says he has maintained his numbers of striking out more than he has pitched innings.
Way to go, Joel. Way to get on it. That was one of the positive things we saw last night, right there at the end of the game.
And then he had an at-bat, and he doubled.
Drew's having one heck of a season behind Salvi.
One and one from Ian Kennedy to A.J. Reed, who is playing in his 2nd big league game. Kennedy struck him out looking in the 2nd inning. Kennedy has pitched 4 innings today and has struck out 6.
And he's getting back to using that fastball again. Then when he gets him thinking fastball, he drops the breaker in there. The slider, his changeup's been effective after he's gotten ahead with that fastball. Pitching with conviction. Long way to go in this one, especially with their power.
Two and two on Reed.
Parents still waiting patiently. Hope they have to fly out to Anaheim to see him get his first big league hit. That's where they go next.
Full count.
Can get a little pricey for family members that want to follow their kids. Can't get on a bus. You got to fly.
Challenged him with a fastball and struck him out, and that's 7 for Kennedy in just 4 1/3 innings.
Time to get that starting rotation back to competing against each other. Kennedy or anybody can stop this pitching from the starters and staying out of the middle, and pass that baton on to Ventura, or Duffy and Ventura, who are the next day's starters.
Gomez fouls back a slider, and Kennedy struck him out in the 2nd inning. The Astros do strike out quite a bit. They lead the league in strikeouts, and last year they led the league in strikeouts. Almost 1,400 strikeouts as a team last year. 1-1 on Gomez.
That'll keep him from reaching out over on the outside part of the plate on those sliders. He's going to come back in there again. He's right up on top of the plate. Look at Gomez.
Long run Perez, long run Morales, and Perez makes a play. Salvi tried to tell Morales that he had it. It looked like he looked at Morales, yelled at him, and used his glove to try and get his attention, and they still almost collided.
That's a long run from Morales, and when you have a play close like that, you're not going to take your eye off the ball. He looked down once, but that was a while ago, and he's calling for it, but Salvi was a little more aggressive there, and the bottom line is get the out. You see, he's trying to call him off of it. Salvi snatched it from him. No collision, thankfully.
Luis Valbuena with 2 down. Breaking ball is inside.
Kennedy's doing exactly what Dave Island wants him to do today. I talked to Dave. He said, look, he's got to stand up and he's got to execute his pitches. This guy's a bona fide big league starter. Get out there and do the job.
Changeup on 2-0. And that was a pitch that struck out Valbuena in the third inning. Got him swinging at a changeup. Three and one. Hit well to left field. Alex on the run, makes a play. Kennedy has only allowed 3 base runners, and he has struck out 7 in 5 scoreless innings. Kendrys Morales home run. Our sprint trivia question for today is, name the 4 second basemen to win most valuable player since 1969. In reference to HUD saying that Jose Altuve is putting an MVP season together. 4 second basemen since the Royals' first year, 1969, have been most valuable player. Ryan Sandberg.
Now you took the guy that I knew for sure.
Well, then say it.
Well, I'm waiting on you. I'm yielding to the higher power.
Cuthbert, and Valbuena's feet started to get tangled up, but he was able to maintain his balance. Cuthbert is 0 for 2, 1 down in the 5th inning. Joe Morgan.
Was that before?
No.
Or after?
His best years were after 69.
How about Jeff Kent?
Thinking the same thing. I think you're right. When he was a teammate of Barry Bonds, that he was the MVP one year, wasn't he?
I think so.
What about Joe Morgan?
We'll have to wait.
All right, we've got 3 of them already. But remember, we're supposed to back off. Let the fans participate.
That's right. It's only fitting.
One and one on Merrifield. Witt has singled and struck out.
You know, ever since those Girl Scouts came up with the Girl Scout cookies, you know, and they handed me the mint ones that, you know, it's not my favorite kind, the thin mints. I've been bugging you about a trade. You know what? Come on, Ryan, trade one of those 2 you got. And after staying on you, you just said, HUD, here, you can have them.
Yeah.
So I commend you for that. You didn't have to give me.
I'm in sell mode as a team.
Okay, so you just gave them to me. I was willing to give you the thin mint box. I appreciate that.
Don't see Witt take many swings like that. And again, that's a strikeout with a fastball up in the strike zone. for Doug Fister. 2 down to Alex Gordon. We remind you to vote for the Royals Player of the Month at one of the 7 Rally House locations in the KC metro area. All participants will be entered to win a majestic prize pack. Fister has gotten Alex to ground out to second base and fly out to center field. Both times had him reaching and hitting the ball off the end of the bat. Again, pulling one to the right side. Reed underhands to Fister. And that's the second 1-2-3 inning for Fister. He's given up just 1 run in 5 innings. Ian Kennedy, no runs in 5 innings.
Just like we promised you earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Ian Kennedy stepping up and executing his pitches with conviction against one of the hottest offenses in baseball today. Doing exactly what he wanted, to stay out of the middle of the plate the best he can. 7 strikeouts already in this one. And with the help of Salvador Perez to strike him out, throw him out, works all day long. Stay right there, Ian. Don't change a thing.
And Ian had, or has, 1 win to his credit in the last 8 starts. And he's pitched a gem so far today as he pitches to Evan Gattis. And Gattis hits one into the seats in left field. And with 1 pitch in the top of the 6th inning, this game is tied at 1. Kennedy in the first 5 innings had allowed just 2 singles and a walk. That is number 12 for Gattis. And now the Houston Astros have hit at least 1 home run in 11 consecutive games.
Didn't quite get it in enough. Gattis is able to barrel it.
And now Springer going for it all. No balls and 1 strike. Springer has walked and grounded out to second base. And the count is 1-1 as we welcome in Denny Matthews. Sundays with Denny. Nice adjustment by both teams on the mound compared to the first 2 games of the series.
Yeah, a couple of slow pitch softball games Friday night and last night. But isn't it interesting how this game works? Kennedy's been having problems, but has always pitched well against Houston. Fister is on a really strong roll, and he's always had trouble with the Royals.
Right.
So until that home run, that was going to be my opening spiel. I was going to say, wow, the form chart holds true. But then the home run kind of messed me up.
Well, we'll take it back to the game on Friday. Edinson Volquez had never lost to the Astros. He had 9 starts. One of only 3 pitchers in history to have 9 starts against the Astros and not lose. And the Astros scored 12 runs against him in 1 inning, 1+ innings. Still 2-2 on Springer.
Every game is different, no matter what. And the conditions today are different. We would have had 2 other home runs. Morales would have hit one to dead center. So too Colby Rasmus, but the wind knocked both down.
Very rare for the wind to be coming out of the northeast like it is today.
Sure is.
Not used to the flags pointing in that direction. Still 2-2 on Springer.
Springer has made some adjustments as a leadoff hitter. AJ Hinch was telling me that he has to remind him every so often. Once they put him in that leadoff spot, that kind of coincided with the turnaround of their offense, and they're starting to get going. But he has to remind him, trying to do too much. Don't swing and get down on that back knee. You know, don't try to swing for the fences. Control your swing. He's been doing that for the most part, not swinging for him.
You know, we've really seen as the game has evolved, the way some teams have viewed the number 1 and number 2 spot in the batting order. That has evolved as well. Number 1 hitter used to be a guy that put the ball in play a lot, didn't strike out very often. You didn't really require much power from him. The number 2 hitter was a guy that had really good bat control, wasn't afraid to hit with 2 strikes. And now, because of the advanced metrics, or just looking deeper into how many at bats a number 1 and a number 2 hitter gets over the course of a year, teams are realizing that they're putting their premier hitters in those spots because those guys are getting 30 or 40 more at bats than the 3, 4, and 5 hitters.
Sure. Didn't Bonds hit number 1 in the batting order quite a bit in his career?
For a long time. Did he go? No. Our good buddy John Gibbons, who's the manager of the Toronto Blue Jays now, before Jose Bautista went on the disabled list, he was leading off Jose Bautista, who's hardly a traditional leadoff type hitter.
Well, the traditional leadoff guy was a little guy, usually the shortstop or second baseman. He could draw walks, he could steal, good runner. And as you say, Ryan, the number 2 guy, good hit and run guy, move the ball around, manage the bat.
Into the wind, and Kane makes a play in front of the warning track, 2 down.
If you have a great base stealer as your leadoff guy, you need a number 2 hitter who is totally and completely unselfish, who can take strikes, who doesn't mind hitting with 2 strikes, to give that guy a chance to steal a base. Lou Brock always said that the most important guy for him as far as stealing bases was the Cardinal second baseman named Ted Sizemore. He said Teddy was a great teammate, very unselfish. He'd take 2, 3, sometimes 4 pitches, give Brock a chance to steal.
Yep, you're right. And two players came to mind when you talked about the leadoff hitter. Campy Campaneris was a guy that could do all that stuff. Great speed, got on base. And then the number 2 hitter that I thought of was Jay Bell, the Pittsburgh Pirates. You talked about Barry Bonds. Jay Bell would sacrifice bunt every time without the manager giving him the bunt. He would see if the guy would steal or not, but he would bunt and move the runner over every time, and it just worked. You're thinking, man, why does he do it every time? And it worked for him.
1-2 on Altuve.
Once in a while you'll have a good base stealer, good base runner, and the hit and run guy behind him. Never mind the signs from the third base coach. They would put that play on themselves. The hitter would give the sign to the base runner. But you have to have a couple of veterans who know what's going on, know the situation to do that. But there have been instances in the game where that's been pretty profitable to the team that utilizes that.
Johnny Damon stole a lot of bases as a Royal, thanks to Joe Randa being that type of a hitter, number 2 hitter. The wind keeps pushing it away from Paulo Orlando, and he was there. The ball was slicing, and then that wind again, it's blowing in from center field, right center field. No play, no error. That ball just kept working away from Paulo.
Yeah, you know what? That's an important out right there. Altuve at the plate. Thankfully, there's nobody on base, but man, you want that out. Just couldn't quite get his hands extended out there to catch it. Plenty of speed. He got there in time. Just alligator armed it a little.
Full count on Altuve with Correa on deck.
Last night, guys, Correa made 2 of the best plays I've seen a shortstop make in quite some time. Back-to-back plays, and very difficult. Really made them look easy. I just sat there and marveled at it.
And the arm that goes with his range and his hands.
It's ridiculous. And he showed, in both cases, he showed that shotgun of an arm.
This will be the 90th pitch for Ian Kennedy. And he struck him out, so he picks up Paulo Orlando. And that is 8 strikeouts for Kennedy in 6 innings. Lorenzo Cain will lead off the bottom of the 6th. After the Gattis home run, it's a 1-1 tie. Kendrys Morales is homered for the Royals. Evan Gattis is homered for the Astros. Our Sonic Slam inning contestant is Stuart Reckert from KCMO. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Stuart wins $700. If the Royals hit a grand slam, Stuart wins $25,000 from Sonic and the Royals. And the Royals' chances are good for helping out Stewart in the 6th with Kane, Hosmer, Perez, and possibly Kendrys Morales against Doug Fister, who has given up 1 run, 5 hits in his 5 innings. He has not walked a batter, and he has struck out 4. Lorenzo Cain has 2 of the 5 hits. Both times singles to left field, and so Fister pitches him away. 1-0.
Fister has an amazing tempo, especially with Gattis throwing that ball right back to him. Denny, these guys are keeping this thing moving quickly. That's part of his strategy. That, along with that big looping curveball Lorenzo just saw.
Yeah, and a ground ball pitcher needs that inner defense to be alert, awake in the game, and as you know, we've talked about it a lot. Pitcher who works quickly helps his defense every time.
It's kind of maybe not quite as quick as Mark Burley, but that's what his manager told me. When I talked to A.J. Hinch about that tempo, he said, yeah, we like to pitch him on getaway days.
High changeup miss, 3-1. Three and two.
All of the great pitchers, Hall of Famers, go back as far as you want, work quickly. Name a pitcher who worked really slow that's in the Hall of Fame. Somebody might say, Gaylord Perry.
How about Hoyt Wilhelm? Knuckleballer.
Knuckleballs.
Slow breaking ball at 68 miles an hour.
We talked about that pitch before the game, about how he's going to use that pitch to upset their timing. Sure enough, here he is bringing it in the third time through, where opponents are hitting 319 off a Fister third time through. Hopefully that's the case.
Eric Hosmer with one out, nobody on. He singled in the first inning and then grounded to second in the third. Cy Young was a slow worker, wasn't he?
When he was young.
Yeah.
No, they got to him and he speeded up. By the time he turned 32, 33, that he was working pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I think if you go back and watch the films, that would prove to be correct.
Sure, and you can understand why he won, what, 511 games. You can't win that many without being a quick worker, keeping your defense involved.
2-2 to Hosmer.
You talk about working quickly, and HUD mentioned Burley. It would be difficult to work any quicker than that.
That's well hit to right field, into the wind, and Springer makes a play. I don't know if Hosmer got all of it, but it was right into the teeth of that wind. I mean, right into the teeth. 2 down.
And it looked like he had some topspin on it. Maybe, maybe not. It looks like he got under it, but just couldn't get it through the wind.
Like it's blowing harder now than it was at first pitch.
There are thunderstorms all around Kauffman Stadium, but not at Kauffman Stadium. They had the tarp on the field for about 30 or 45 minutes earlier today, but no rain fell here. Perez hits it just foul outside of third base. But it is plenty steamy here today. Salvi has popped a short and struck out. Jammed. Should be easy for Reed, and that's the inning. So that's 8 in a row set down by Doug Fister. A 1-1 tie at the end of 6. 1-1s. We have a 1-1 tie to the top of the 7th inning. When this series is over, the Royals will prepare for the I-70 series. 2 games here, 2 in St. Louis, Monday through Thursday. All 4 games are here on Fox Sports Kansas City. Cardinals and the Royals both came into today with the exact same record, 38-35. But for the Cardinals in their division and chasing the Cubs, that puts them 10 games back. They have had a good offensive year, ranking in the top 4, some of the major categories, especially the power categories. And Trevor Rosenthal, the former Lee Summit West Titan, was removed as closer. So around the league, brought to you by Panera Bread.
The Cardinals may be using at least part of the time OH.
Pitcher from Korea and then Japan.
Hey, you know what would really be cool if we could get Dylan in the game and then get OG. Right?
Did you just think of that, or have you been thinking about that?
It just occurred to me. I mean, we're talking about Cardinals moving O, maybe. And of course, Dylan, G.
Well, you're the one also that when the Royals were in New York and Ivan Nova was pitching, there's a 3-pitch strikeout. Carlos Correa is down, and that's 9 strikeouts for Ian Kennedy, 6 of which have been on his fastball, which would remind him of his early season success. And now he ties his season high with 9 strikeouts. But you were the one when Ivan Nova was pitching in New York and Lorenzo Cain came up, that we had Nova Cain.
Well, yeah. That fits right in, doesn't it?
Yes. Colby Rasmus is 0 for 2. Down in the count, no balls and 1 strike. What's your best description of Colby Rasmus' makeup today? He's going for the Alice Cooper look, we think.
Denny was
pretty good too. I mean, he almost got it.
Was Alice Cooper a favorite of yours when he was in his day?
Not really, but he was playing golf at one of the local courses when I was out there about 3 summers ago. He was right behind us. He's a very good golfer.
And a huge baseball fan.
Good comparable, guys. I liked it.
I really never identified with him.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Only song I really liked was when I was young was School's Out for Summer. I liked that one.
You just like the thought of school being out for the summer. You can't kid me.
1 and 2 on Rasmus.
You know what else?
What else?
In the Cardinal Royal series, we'll have Wing and Wang. No, Wong.
Wong and Wong.
Wong and Wang. Well, we've got.
They're pronounced the same. They're spelled differently.
Right. Well, we've got.
Be careful.
Wang, but it's pronounced Wong. They got Wong, but it's pronounced Wing.
Right.
Or Wong. Am I wrong about that? All right. Well,
very careful with your wings and your wongs.
Well, I have to be. I have something to look forward to when we play the Cardinals 4 times.
Fastball up. Season high 10 strikeouts for Ian Kennedy. His career high is 12. 10 strikeouts, HUD, 7 with his fastball.
That's what we're talking about. Before the game, we talked about the importance of him pitching with conviction with that fastball. That's the pitch that he got him going so good early this year, and he's established it. And I'll say, looking at those 10 punch outs, that's conviction.
Royals didn't need to start like this, did they?
Oh, what a step up. Only thing missing is a few runs for him.
And now A.J. Reed, he's been a strikeout victim twice, once looking, once swinging, and both with a fastball. 2-0. family and friends of A.J. Reed in from Kentucky to see his first 2 big league games. They have not seen a hit yet, but they've seen him on base a couple of times and scored twice. Picked up an RBI last night.
Reminds you a little bit of the Cardinals sometime first baseman Matt Adams.
Matt Adams, yep.
Same physique. Good power, both left-handed hitters, both.
It has been exactly a week since a Royal starter has gone 7 innings. Boy, do they need it today after the first 2 games of the Astros.
I guess.
Kennedy didn't like his footing before delivering that 3-1 pitch.
Throw it 3-1, you're going to throw it 3-2. Reed will be looking for it here.
Good spot. Full count. Struck him out with a fastball again. Thank you, Den.
Welcome, guys.
11 strikeouts for Kennedy in 7 innings.
What an exclamation point to put on that striking out the side. All right, when we come back, we're going to share with you. Our Win is going to share his different mitts. He can play solid left field, center and right for that matter. Also, when it comes to infield play at second base, he's been phenomenal. Making plays to his left and right, showing his skills. Well, you got to have certain tools for all those positions, and we're going to talk about Whitley right here.
I've grown so comfortable with the glove I use a second, I just use it all over. It's 11.5 inch, pretty standard, Derek Jeter model. This is my first base glove, just a standard first base glove. When I went over there, I just kind of grabbed the first thing I saw. Outfield glove, it's a 12 3/4, H-Web, Rawlings. It's a little bit tougher because it's a bigger glove to get the ball in and out of, but it's an outfield glove, so you got to have those extra inches to track the ball down.
How about the catcher's glove?
The catcher's glove, hopefully I won't have to use a catcher's glove ever.
Thanks, Whit.
Yeah, thank you.
But if Ned Yost needed an emergency catcher, Whit Merrifield might be the guy that he goes to.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. You know, when you have all that talent, you got to have certain gloves for certain positions. But that catcher's glove is one you can borrow to get away with that one. That's
Right.
going to be an emergency situation. Hope that doesn't happen.
We haven't seen him at first base yet. We did see him in spring training play at that position, and he is literally, sometimes it's just a figure of speech when you say a guy can play all over the field, but the Royals really believe that he can play all over the field.
And doing better than adequate job, not just a fill-in. You know, he'll make a dazzling play for you too. And that's why athletes are the prime ticket to get. Find them, get them, draft them any way you can.
2-0 from Pfister to Kendrys Morales, who has flied to the warning track in center field and homered to right. Three balls, no strikes. Morales, Orlando, and Escobar. 86 pitches for Pfister, and at the moment nobody is warming up behind him in the Astros pen as Morales swings 3-0 into the wind. Springer to the fence, gone. A 2-home run game for Kendrys Morales.
That's two of them that had a little topspin. Doesn't matter. Go ahead and carry the offense and give Ian Kennedy a nice parting gift. 3-0. That ball's got to go. Pfister laid him a cookie in there.
That is the 15th multi-home run game for Kendrys Morales. He has been the Royals offense. Now Paulo Orlando takes a strike, and as we were discussing with Denny an inning or so ago, with a different wind or maybe no wind today, that could be a 3-home run game for Morales as he drove Gomez to the warning track in center field with the only out that he made in the second inning. 0-2 on Paulo Orlando. He has grounded out twice.
Oh man, what a nice sight to see. The Morales is finally starting to heat up a little bit here and help out everybody else in that lineup, especially Hosmer.
Valbuena turns all the way around for a little extra momentum and throws out Paulo Orlando. And Kennedy says thank you very much. Kennedy has a chance to win his 6th, our AT&T high-speed internet replay.
Oh, there's a little toe tap from the left side. It's twice now we've seen him leave the yard. Both of them were pulled shots. Now that ball had stayed up high, and that wind started to get it, but it was just too much power. Springer saved the Springs.
Slow curveball for a strike to Escobar. Doug Pfister has given up 13 home runs this year. 12 have been solo home runs. So you figure 7 innings, a couple of solo home runs, not bad. But his counterpart, Ian Kennedy, has gone 7 innings and given up 1 solo home run. 1-1 to Escobar.
Hitters sharing with each other what it was, what was the pitch, you know, down the middle, all those things.
Base hit to center field for Escobar. Now Cetus Escobar continues to heat up. He has a 7-game hitting streak, and now he's hit safely in 11 of his last 12 games.
Yeah, in order for him to get back to the top of that lineup, that's what he's going to have to do. He's going to have to produce and get hot.
Take more swings like that one.
Exactly. Short, compact, under control. Just try to get on base. Kennedy. Wow, what a job he did. Ian Kennedy stepped up like they needed in the worst way. Way to bow your neck. It's a term used in the game for somebody to step up.
Chesler Cuthbert is 0 for 2. One of those outs was a line out to third, and that ball's hit well. Left center field, deep, gone. No solo home run this time for Doug Fister. Chesler Cuthbert. A trolley wire to left center field, and the Royals lead is 4-1.
Yeah. Hey, look, things are contagious in the game, and offenses are one of those. And Morales started, and now Cuthbert adds on for some more insurance, which is really important against these Astros. Great swing, control. There's the big looper. But third time through the order, the Royals are catching up to him. Fastball 87, good easy swing, caught the ball just right.
Bunted foul by Merrifield.
Yeah, right on the inner half. Cuthbert's focus was good. He picked up that release point, found it down the middle, but you got to hit it just the right spot. Long way to get over that 387 sign in left center.
His teammates love him.
Why not? Ooh, man. That'll bring a smile to that guy's face. Now, Ian Kennedy deserved it. He pitched one heck of a ball game against one of the hottest offenses. Shut them down by executing his pitches out of the middle of the plate.
So two very good starts for Ian Kennedy against the Astros. And again, the Royals score late against Doug Fister. They force a Chevy call to the bullpen, and Tony Sipp will come on to face Alex Gordon. He needed a win today, first of all, to end a Royals 4-game losing streak, and second of all, to prevent from falling too far back of the Cleveland Indians. Our premier Northtown Mazda game break, that is a Uribe, a Naquin, a Napoli, and a Chisenhall 4-home run inning. So it was a 2-2 tie before the Indians hit the 4 home runs, all against Justin Verlander, and they beat the Tigers 9-3. And the Indians are now 9-0 against the Tigers this year.
Playing with a lot of confidence, that team, and with that starting rotation of theirs, they're finally kicking it in gear. Royals got to hang on to the best they can to stay with them during this period of time, and they'll go through their little valley. Hopefully the Royals will close that gap, and they will. It's a lot of baseball left.
A.J. Hinch, after Doug Fister threw 98 pitches, did not want him to face Alex Gordon, so it's Tony Sipp who falls behind 2 balls and no strikes. Alex is hitless in 3 at-bats so far today. Off of Correa's glove. So Alex has his first hit. Royals have 9 hits today. They've scored 3 runs in this bottom of the 7th inning, thanks to a Kendrys Morales solo home run and a Chesler Cuthbert 2-run home run.
And a misjudgment by Correa helped Alex get that hit. He jumped just a little too soon. You see the pulled over shift. They got the guys on the right side over here. They think they got it all covered, but just mistimed his leap. And Alex is a beneficiary of that.
Fastball strike to Kane. It's overcast, and it almost feels a little dark at the ballpark, at least for major league standards. The Royals have not turned the lights on yet, but the Royals have had no trouble seeing the ball in this inning.
It's like they're hungry. But you're right, it's a little bit dark out there.
Lorenzo Cain is 2 out of 3, trying to enhance his all-star chances to be a starter in back-to-back years.
But he can't do it without you folks. Come on, let's get him in.
Royals.com/vote. One ball and 2 strikes.
Tony Sipp's fastball's 88 to 93. A little bit of late tailing action to it. Slider changeup.
Gordon runs, and that's well hit to left field and off the fence. Mike Jershely will hold Gordon at third. Cain has a double. He has a 3-hit game. What does that mean? A little more work in the weight room to get that ball over the fence?
I think so, but look, he stayed on that nicely. He had a little top of the ball, so the ball stayed in. Didn't have the backspin on it, but didn't matter. Hits the base of the wall. Alex Gordon slowed down a little bit coming around second base here. Watch him. I don't think he picked up the ball, but there's 2 outs, so you're going hard no matter what. But good to see him shifting gears. Nice to have those gears.
I believe Joe West is intentionally delaying the game to force the Royals to put the lights on, which they have.
I think he was listening to our feed up here and he heard you. And he agreed.
Well, after what you said about him on Friday, he wanted a closed circuit broadcast, his own personal broadcast, and now what is he doing? He is telling Tony Sipp to leave the mound.
Oh, Ned's not very happy.
There's rain in the area. And I think if it's about the lights, we don't know for sure, but if this is about the lights, and it is about the lights because Ned's looking up there. If this is about the lights, who has the biggest disadvantage, HUD, when the lights aren't on yet? The hitters.
Obviously the hitter.
Right? So, I mean, surely the Astros aren't complaining about the lights. The hitters aren't complaining about the lights. The Royals had 1 run, 5 hits in the first 6 innings, and now they have 3 runs, 5 hits in this inning. And we've got a problem with the lights suddenly?
No. Well, Joe West, now Ned gave him an earful, and Joe went back to his position and said, let's play the game. You're right, Ned. As they came on, and then they went off.
So what was the problem? They all didn't come on, or what?
Hard to tell. Anyway, keep the line moving.
Could it be that he was upset that the lights were coming on in the middle of the inning because they've all been turned off? One ball and 1 strike on Eric Hosmer. Well, there's one way to speed up the game. Just don't allow Joe West to have control of whether the lights are on or not.
Well, you know what? I think Ned got to him. Opened his eyes saying, you know what? Our hitters aren't having a hard time seeing the ball. Let's go. Rain in the area.
That's another thing that he has to be aware of, that there is rain in the area. Well, it's not the first time that we've had that issue with him here in regard to lights. But I think we will be forever grateful for Joe West for that game in St. Louis when he allowed the Royals and Cardinals to play past 3 a.m. and helped the Royals win a game in what ended up being a turnaround game in that season.
I remember. Joe West did a great job of keeping that grounds crew in St. Louis on their toes.
Good thing they turned the lights off. Hosmer's going to drive in 2 more. And the Royals have come up with 5 in the bottom of the 7th inning.
There you go. You just never know when the runs are going to erupt here in this ballpark with the Royals. Believe it. It can be early, it can be late, but they're going to get to you. 1, 2, or 3 outs. I mean, no outs. It don't matter. Look now, Haas. He was not getting to the pitch earlier in the count with the sliders away, and he took advantage of a mistake and didn't miss it.
Could you imagine how many runs they could have scored if the lights were on? They'll take the 5. Another Chevy call to the bullpen for the Astros.
Rocking today. I just had a chance to get some clarification. Now maybe Joe West didn't notice it right away, but the league wants conditions to be the same regardless, so they don't want you turning on the lights until a full inning is complete. Basically saying that if the Royals have the light in an inning, the Astros should have the light in an inning. That's the rule. That's the explanation. Ryan, let me give you the commissioner's office number.
Yeah, that's great. That's a rule that rhymes with Cupid. Whatever. You know, if this was a smaller venue where the lights, you know, were right on top of the field, that would make more sense. But in a big stadium, when the lights are so high and they take forever to warm up. Chris Davinsky. Salvador Perez fouls one right off of Gattis's mask. 1 ball and 1 strike. There also has to come a point where you say, you know, it's getting dark enough now where you have to be a bit concerned with the safety of the players, that there's not enough light. No?
Yep, I think you do. But, you know, the rules are rules, and they're going to go by them. I mean, the lights came on like Joe wanted. Then Ned Yost obviously knew the rule and said, hey, look, you can't turn it on in the middle of the inning.
Davinsky comes on and strikes out Salvador Perez, but the Royals, lights or no lights, may have turned the lights out on the Astros with a 5-run bottom of the 7th inning.
Timely. Pilots Bombardier. Open up those Bombay doors.
Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. It was a 1-1 tie and a very good pitcher's duel between Ian Kennedy and Doug Fister for the first 6 innings. Kennedy turned in a scoreless 7th, and then the Royals scored 5 runs. 3 charged to Fister, 2 charged to Tony Sipp in the bottom of the 7th inning.
7th inning. Our Jeep drives the game. The home runs broke out. Frenzy hitting broke out.
Hitting around did too. Look, how about that? Cuthbert. Man, just a nice, easy swing. Giving that pitching staff some much needed support as far as runs go. They've been all over it. Haas's double was sweet. That's right. Keep them coming, guys.
Kelvin Herrera, he was warmed up and ready to go in a save situation. Now it's a non-save situation, but if Ned Yost has one of his guys warmed up, and the technical term is a pitcher getting hot, meaning he's at game speed, he doesn't want to waste a pitcher in a situation like that, so Herrera stays on and takes care of Gomez on 3 pitches. Kennedy and now Herrera have combined for 12 strikeouts against the Astros today.
Remember how we talked about hitters not wanting to move their feet? Well, Gomez backed off of the plate facing Herrera as he was earlier against Kennedy. He was up right on the dish, but he backed off 2 or 3 inches. And for obvious reasons, with Herrera's 98-mile-an-hour fastball, sometimes he lets that thing get away from him. He backed off.
And now inside to Luis Valbuena. Two 2-0 on Valbuena. He is 0 for 2 today. Today's game will decide the season series between the Royals and the Astros. The Royals took 3 out of 4 from Houston at Minute Maid Park in April. That was the Royals' first road series. And then Houston came in here, and on Friday night they won 13-4. A.J. Hinch's team won 13-5 last night, and the Royals are now 5 outs away on defense from putting an end to the Astros' 7-game winning streak. 2-2.
In between innings, I went to talk to the assistant general manager of baseball operations, Scott Sharp, about the possibility of LED lights here at the K. And his answer was yes, they are coming. Hopefully we'll have them in place by next year, if not, soon to follow.
And those lights are not only energy efficient, but they come on right now.
Just like flipping on your switch at home, on and off. And now could cause some issues with the outfield, but with these lights up here, it's very high up on the top of the stadium there, may not have as much as effect as we thought. Now, Houston has them. Good pitch by Herrera.
2 down, and now 13 strikeouts for Royals pitchers today. Join the Royals and local business professionals for Business Day at the K. That's on July 20th, presented by Tierney Office Products. The event will feature a pregame presentation by Royals general manager Dayton Moore, networking opportunities and snacks, and then of course the Royals and the Indians. Royals.com/business for more information and to purchase tickets. And as we mentioned earlier, the Indians have won their 9th in a row. They beat Detroit and Justin Verlander 9-3 earlier today, hitting 4 home runs in 1 inning against Verlander. So the Royals need a win today to remain 5 games back at the moment, 5.5 back.
Tigers can't buy a win against Cleveland.
0-9 against Cleveland.
Wow.
And that loss drops the Tigers back to the 500 mark. Gattis chops it up the middle. Escobar with a high throw, and Morales was able to keep his foot on the bag. The Astros want to check to see and make sure that Morales did keep his foot on the bag. A.J. Hinch holding everybody up for the moment, and they believe that he did, and he did.
He gone. copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or transmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated. That means don't copy it without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Club. Hey, how about us? Brian Lefevre, Joe Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery, Royals Hall of Fame closer. I'm Rex Hudler. Happy to be with you today, especially talking about some good news. The Royals are up 6-1. Here in the 8th inning. Beautiful thing, little ground ball, rolls him over. That's all right. Morales will give him that one. He's had the last laugh, couple of bombs in today's afternoon finale. All right, Paulo Orlando, he's stepping up. Let's see what Paulo can do if he can figure out a way to get on. He hasn't gotten a base hit in 3 times up today so far. Paulo doesn't like that. Ooh. Now, Chris Davinsky, the Astros pitcher, going 92-93 with his fastball, stays right over the top. That big curveball. It's a looper. Paulo, hungry to keep that hitting streak alive. Ooh, almost got him there. 9-game hitting streak he's got going. Davinsky moving his feet. Big curve. Fastball at his knees. Trying to back him off the plate. Yeah. There's a knock right up the middle on that floating breaking ball by Chris Davinsky. You can't keep a good man down. Paulo Orlando continues the streak at 10. That's a beautiful stroke. Ryan, you have some color on that?
Remember how nasty he was in Houston? We'd never seen Chris Davinsky before.
I remember.
All we do is that he had the nickname the Dragon.
That's right.
Because of his fierce competitiveness on the mound, and he's had a good year, and yet now he's not a big mystery. Some Royals hitters have seen him. They've got a little more video to watch.
Just love that short, compact swing of Paulo Orlando. There's a reason why he's so successful this year, especially with runners in scoring position. He is short and compact and directing everything up the middle. Why? It's the biggest hole in the diamond. That's where your hits. That's where you hit for a high average. Spraying the ball around. Eske's starting to come around. Needs to get that average back up to 270. 252 right now. Just how you do it. Another breaking pitch. He went with it. And Chris Davinsky going with his soft stuff. There's the changeup. You saw the circle change there, and Escobar right off the end. He reached out, but his head position was in good position. Paulo had to freeze. Didn't know if he was going to catch it or not. With one out, don't want to get doubled up. And the Royals continuing to hit. Davinsky, his big curve, his great changeup. Put it where he wanted it, but Escobar with a little bit better hitting. Big swing by Cuthbert.
He's one of those guys who was used as a starter in the minor leagues, but you reduce him down to an inning or two and maybe take away one of his pitches, and he's a completely different pitcher. Not to mention he's just fearless on the mound.
That ball's going to reach the seats. Cuthbert having some outstanding June numbers. Could he be a candidate for your June Player of the Month?
He's doing what you want every young player to do, and that is get better.
That's
Make
right.
adjustments and get better in a short period of time.
And let's not forget, he's getting everyday reps. He's getting better and better. 7th inning, here we go. Nice, easy, compact swing on a mistake by Pfister. Right down the middle. Didn't try to do a lot with it, but caught it perfectly on a good, easy swing. And that'll roll him up. Little speed the game up action right there, so folks can get out in their car and get home and barbecue. Gotta like that. Followed. Yeah, now Cuthbert didn't, but waiter, take a couple yellow hammers and a side of cheese, please, to go. Royals up 6-1. Wade Davis in, not a save situation, but needs a little bit of work. Nice to see the defensive players behind him smiling today after getting it handed to him the last couple of nights by the Astros. They are having the last laugh today, and that's a good thing. You see Wade Davis in, 28th game. ERA sparkling. Strikeouts, opponent's average, all good.
And when you talk about getting some work, it's been a week since he's pitched. So Herrera was warmed up for a save situation and ended up being a non-save situation. Ned Yost used Herrera anyway, but I'll bet Wade Davis was going to pitch no matter what today, just to keep him sharp. And he'll get the top of the order: George Springer, Marwin Gonzalez, and Jose Altuve.
Fastball straight at 97. He cuts it at low 90s, maybe mid 90s. And a big overhand curve, and that one's going to drop.
Springer is on for the second time. He walked against Ian Kennedy. Ian Kennedy had him down 0-2 as the first batter of the game. And Ian Kennedy did not walk another batter for the rest of the game and finished with a season high 11 strikeouts, one shy of his career high.
Great job stepping up when they needed somebody to. And hopefully Duffy and Ventura will follow with solid outings.
Marwin Gonzalez with Springer at first base. Out to Merrifield. Out at second. And no double play. The Royals do get the lead runner. All right, let's answer our trivia question with Jose Altuve coming up. He's the DH today, but normally the Astros regular second baseman, a candidate right now for American League MVP. So the fourth second baseman to win most valuable player since the Royals' first year. We came up with Ryan Sandberg, Jeff Kent,
Joe Morgan,
Dustin Pedroia.
Let's see if we are correct. Suspense is killing me. Ding, 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 ding.
No way, Hud.
We got him.
Nice work.
Yeah. Speaking of nice work, you know, when you walk into the front door of the K and you see that beautiful painting that's on the wall of the Royals and their fan celebration.
PAULO comes over from right. Continue.
Yep. And then, you know, anyway, it's a beautiful. I mean, it's a stopper. It's an eye stopper. You stop
get it.
You have to look and then
Go get it.
You know, I finally got to meet the artist. I was so excited. He came to the booth today. William Rose is the artist, and it's really special. Let me get it for you. In case you haven't seen it, and I'm sure you have if you walked in the front gates or front door, but a lot of folks don't come in that way. But it is nice. So a lot of the players got copies of it, and folks, you can too get a copy of it. William Rose is the artist. Leopold Gallery in Brookside has them. You can get them, but there's not many left, folks. If you want one for your living room or your sports room, go ahead. Thank you, Mr. William Rose.
Well, you're right. The one behind the main desk at Kauffman Stadium, it's something I walk by on my way in and on my way out, and I look at it every single time. It's just a stunningly beautiful painting.
No question. And William Rose should be proud, and he is. He's been a lifelong Kansas Cityan.
Back to Davis.
Waiter! My food's a little cold. It's been a week, but check, please. Camo, Cuthbert. Way to go. Way to find the outside of the wall here at the K. Big help. Royals hang on.
Kendrys Morales. Now the Royals say, and we have no reason not to believe him, and Morales says, and there's no reason not to believe him, but that the 4 days off to rest that sprained finger,
right?
That finger issue had nothing to do with his poor start, but there's no debating how much better he's been since getting those 4 days off.
Yes, and there's no debating the importance of this guy in the lineup, hitting behind Eric Hosmer, one of the most feared hitters in baseball. He did it not once, he did it twice. Pulled his hands in, he's starting to see the ball. It all started with all the walks he started taking. That's how you turn yourself around, by being more selective at times and less aggressive. Camo is getting the job done.
Royals end a 4-game losing streak. They also put an end to the Astros 7-game winning streak. And with that, KCW, the Royals have a winning season series against the Astros. They went 4-3 against Houston. So Kendrys Morales with 2 home runs. And as they say, you always want power from your corners. Cheslor Cuthbert, who is playing at third base, also hit a 2-run home run. Eric Hosmer added a 2-run double, and the Royals win the series finale 6-1. Let's go down to the field, and here's Joel.
Well, right now we got a game of basketball and a box out in the paint going on between Pedro Grifol, the catching coach and translator, and Kendrys Morales. I think they're trying to stay out of the line of fire. Well, here they go. I think Kendrys got the worst of that. Okay. Let's talk about the offense here today and the ability to hit those 2 home runs and how much that meant in a very close game at the time.
Habla de la ofensiva y los 2 jonrones que diste y lo que representó eso en un juego que hacía falta como hoy.
Bueno, ya estábamos 2 juegos abajo, ¿no? Fui bastante agresivo en los dos esas bates esas y nada, pude seleccionar bien los picheos y conectarle bien.
We're down 2 games in the series. His intentions were to come out, be aggressive, and he was able to get good pitches to hit, and he was able to hit them out.
Kendrys, you've been a good hitter your whole career. and things have turned around in June, hitting 300 from each side of the plate. What's been the key to the turnaround?
Tú has sido buen bateador en la carrera tuya siempre. ¿Y cuál ha sido la llave tuya en junio que está bateando 300 de los dos lados?
Bueno, no tuve comienzo muy bueno, ¿no? Pero nunca me paré de trabajar y ahora que me están saliendo, gracias a Dios, las cosas bien.
Obviously, he didn't have a good start to the season, but you know, he never stopped working, and now it's when he's starting to feel real good.
Last thing, from your view at first base, what did you see from Ian Kennedy today?
De la vista tuya de primera, ¿qué tuviste hoy del pitch de nosotros?
Bueno, se fajó bastante, aguantó el juego bastante, ¿no? Y nosotros pudimos producir y ahí vieron el resultado.
He really competed. He kept us close in the game, and we were able to come up with some key runs later on.
Kendrys Pedro, thank you very much. Great job today, Kendrys.
Thank you.
Kendrys Morales, big 2 home run day. Let's go back upstairs to Ryan and Hud.
So after watching the Astros score 26 runs in the first 2 games, Ian Kennedy, Kelvin Herrera, and Wade Davis with great run support hold Houston to 1 run on 4 hits. The Salvi splash came early today. We'll be right back.